Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? I think I'm coming down with a cold. I'm not sure. Um, I want to talk about, I know I told you guys I was going to continue my series on talking about single ladies and, singleness and single ladies and, single ladies issues and all that. Well, this video, I'm gonna title it "Single Ladies Don't Give Boyfriends Husband Benefits." Don't give boyfriends husband benefits. Its title speaks for itself. The reasons why you don't want to give boyfriends husband benefits is because if you give him husband benefits, then he has no encouragement to marry you. If you're giving a boyfriend husband benefits, there's no motivation or no encouragement to marry you. Why should he marry you? The old saying that they say that it's an old saying, it's just a cliche, but that saying still holds true today. Even I don't care how old fashioned you think that statement is. Why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? I don't care how old fashioned you think that statement is or that comment is, but that is a very true statement. It's a very true statement, and it's still valid. I think it still holds a lot of weight, even in our time today. Very old statement, but I think it carries a lot of weight because what essentially means is if you're giving boyfriends husband benefits, you giving everything to a boyfriend, you're doing everything for a boyfriend that you should be doing for a husband, then he has no encouragement, he has no motivation to marry you. Steve Harvey, now people talk about Steve Harvey because they say, well, how can he be an expert? He been married twice, and whatever. But a lot of what Steve Harvey says makes a lot of sense. I think he's correct in a lot of things that he says. I think that me and him think alike because I see some of the same things that he says. I be saying some of the same stuff that he be saying. So I think they say great minds think alike, but people knock Steve Harvey, but a lot of things that Steve Harvey be saying be on point. And what one of the things that he says is that you have to require a man to marry you. You have to make it a requirement, and I do think that that's a very true statement. I think that when a woman is dating a guy, she needs to make it very clear, not too soon, not on the first date or anything like that. But I think that when you're talking about, getting into the possibility of getting into a relationship with this person, I think that you need to put all the cards on the table. I think that you need to let the guy make it very clear to the guy and let the guy know what you want, what you're looking for in your future. Like if you want a husband and you want a family, then if you guys, I'm not talking about like on the first date or whatever, you don't say those things too early, but I'm talking about if you guys had had some successful dates and you're contemplating on having a entering into a relationship with this person. um, you need to make it very clear with this person that what your expectations are, what you want, and if you want to get married, if you want to have a family, then he needs to know that he needs if before he enters into a long-term relationship with you, he needs to know that you want a family, that you want to get married. And if that's something that he's not looking for, then he knows where the door is. You don't want to spin your wheels with somebody that doesn't want to get married somewhere on down the line. And I think communication is very important, and you need to, because sometimes a woman is with a man for 3 and 4 years, and and stuff like that, and then she's like feeling like, okay, I feel like I've been cheated because I've been with this guy for 4 years and he's still not talking marriage. And I think it's because they didn't have good communication in the beginning of the relationship. Like Steve Harvey said, she didn't set any requirements in the earlier on in the relationship, and make it firm and make it very clear to the man in the early part of the relationship what she really wanted. And I think that that's what women have to. Women need to do that. Women need to make it very clear in the beginning of the relationship what they want and what they expect. You know, and the guy will decide if this is something that he's looking for. He will decide if this is something that um, if he wants a family, if he wants to eventually get married and he wants a family, this is something that he can marinate on. If he thinks that you're possible wifey material or whatever. But these conversations need to happen before a long term relationship is even decided on. I've heard of cases of people getting married and they didn't have a conversation about kids before they got married, and then the guy says, "Well, I don't want to have any kids." And the woman wants a family, but the man don't want a family. Well, where was the conversation you guys were supposed to have before you got married about that? And so it needs to be clear and cut. You guys need to be having dialogue. You need to be communicating earlier on in a relationship, and you need to make it very clear, like Steve Harvey says, the woman has to set those requirements. That's first off, right off the bat there. And then when you're dating a guy, there is certain protocol when you're dating a guy. When you're dating a guy, I like I said in other videos, I highly recommend that you abstain from having a sexual relationship with a man until marriage. I highly recommend that. Because if you're making yourself too available to a man, if you're making yourself too available, every time he call you, you answer the phone. Every time he wants to see you, you're seeing him. You're not showing him that you have a life outside of the relationship. You're not showing him that you have other things going on besides him. You're making yourself so available to him. Like every time he wants to see you, you go in and you see him and you spend time with him every time he wants. You're making yourself too available, you know. And women have a tendency, and I was guilty of this before in the past myself. There's nothing wrong with cooking a man a nice meal. You got to show off your cooking skills a little bit. And men like a woman that can cook. He needs to know that you can cook. There's nothing wrong with cooking for a man, but there is something wrong with cooking for him all the time if you're just a girlfriend. If you're just his girlfriend, it is not good to cook. It's good to cook him a meal here and there. Um, it's not always what you do, it's how you do it. Honey, I've planned a nice romantic dinner for us, and then he comes over and you guys sit down to a nice romantic home cooked meal. That's different. That's a whole different scenario. But if you're cooking for this guy, you're cooking him breakfast, you're making him breakfast in bed. Every time you turn around, you're cooking, dinner for him. You're making this a habit, not either if you're living with him, you're making it daily, but if you're not living with him, you're doing it three or four times a week. You're making his lunches and you're taking it to him, and you know, see you doing too much. You're doing too much. You're doing wifey stuff. You're doing stuff that a wife does. And don't give he's just a boyfriend. Don't give him husband benefits. Like I said, a romantic dinner here and there, that's one thing. But to be cooking for him, you know, uh, several times a week, making his lunches for him, taking it to his job and all that stuff, that's doing too much. Now, I'm sorry. I just think that's doing too much. And if you're and particularly if you decide to live with this person, if you decide to live with this person, that's a big no. Because if you decide, what happens when you decide to live with a guy that you're not married to, then he has full time access to your body. You're definitely going to be cooking for him every single day. You're cooking for him every single day. And you're washing his clothes. You're cleaning the house. You're doing everything that a wife does. But you don't have the ring on your finger. That is a problem. If you're living with a guy, you're doing everything. You're going to be doing everything that a wife does. You're going to be cleaning house. You're going to be cooking. You're going to be doing laundry. Okay. If there's children involved, you're going to be taking care of the children. You're gonna be having sex with him when he wants you to have sex with him. He's gonna have access to your body every single day. And I don't know about you guys, you ladies, but when I was single, I had a problem with that. Like I said, I was dating a guy that wanted me to shack up with him. I was like, absolutely not. I went to thinking about all that stuff. I went to thinking about, well, I'm going to be cleaning the house. I'm going to be cooking. He's going to have access to my body every day. I was like, no, no, it's not going to happen like that. You know, I'm like, why should I give you access to me on a daily basis when you can't even honor me enough to put a ring on my finger? That's a major problem, ladies. Don't do it. I think that is the biggest mistake a woman can make. Besides the biggest mistake a woman can make is have a baby by a man that she's not married to. That's number one. The second biggest mistake that you can make with a man is live with him before marriage. Particularly if you know for a fact you want to get married. If you know for a fact that you want to get married and you know for a fact that you want to be a wife, why would you live with the guy? Why would you give him access to you on a full-time basis? You're doing wifey duties. You're doing everything. When you're living with a guy, you're doing everything that a wife does. And he's just the boyfriend. He is not your husband. You should not be washing his clothes. You should not be on a regular base. You shouldn't be cleaning up after him on a regular base. You shouldn't be cooking him meals day in and day out. He shouldn't have access to your body like that. You are just a girlfriend. You are not his wife. You should only be doing those things for him if you are his wife. Plain and simple. Not a girlfriend. And you're giving a boyfriend husband benefits. And he doesn't deserve to have those benefits because he hasn't honored you with your hand in marriage. He hasn't offered up your hand in marriage. He hasn't asked for your hand in marriage. He hasn't offered you a ring. So why are you giving him all the benefits that you would be giving a husband? And see what winds up happening. I'm gonna tell you what ends up happening. What ends up happening is when women do this, 2, 3, 4, 5 years have passed, and they look up, the man still ain't put a ring on your finger. And then you're like, well, why, and then you find yourself debating with him, well, why can't we get married? This is because he figured, why buy the cow when he could get the milk for free? He figured that you're doing everything for him that a wife does. So what's the point? In his mind, he figured the marriage, is just a piece of paper. Particularly if he is in a world. Particularly if he's in a world and he has a worldly mindset, and he's not a Christian man. And if he's a Christian man, he shouldn't be shacking up with you in the first place. But if he's in a world and he has that worldly mindset, you dealing with that worldly mindset. He's gonna be looking at, well, why? Well, what's the point of getting married? It's just a piece of paper. A lot of people, I hear a lot of people say that marriage is a lot more than just a piece of paper. Marriage is not just a piece of paper. Marriage is a spiritual covenant. It's a spiritual covenant, not just with the other person, but with God. It goes a whole lot deeper than just a piece of paper. It is not just a piece of paper. But I hear a lot of people say that. Oh, it's just a piece of paper. No, it's not just a piece of paper. It goes a whole lot deeper. It's a serious covenant. You're not just making a covenant with that other person, but you're also making a covenant with God. So a lot of people get it twisted. And so the guy figured, well, you doing all this stuff for him. He has full-time access to you, and you doing all these things for him. He figured, what's the point? You done already gave him free reign over your whole body and all your time. So he figured, what's the point? Why get married? Now, sometimes both people are thinking that way. Well, if both people are thinking that way, then Well, I don't know what to say about that, but if most people are thinking that way. But if the man is thinking like that, and the woman wants to get married, and she's living with the guy, you shacking with the guy, and you want to get married, but the guy is reluctant to marry you. Well, that's why he's not going to marry you, because he figured why buy the cow when he can get the milk for free. See, you've been giving all the milk away for free. Don't do that, ladies. Don't give. He doesn't deserve to be. I said it in my other video. I think it's a very catchy phrase. Don't don't give him. Don't. He's on a boyfriend's watch. He's not on a husband's watch. He's on a boyfriend's watch. I like that. It's catchy and I like it. Okay. He's he is not on a husband watch. He's on a boyfriend's watch. So don't give him all the benefits that you would give a husband, and he's just a boyfriend. He doesn't deserve that. And frankly, if he waits all them years to ask for your hand in marriage, you have to question if this is even the right guy for you, even in the first place. You have to kind of question. You have to kind of wonder if this man is even the right one for you, because the right man ain't gonna wait that long. So that I think the number one, like I said, the number one mistake a woman can make is having a baby with a man that's not her husband. That's the number one mistake. Second mistake you can make is living with a guy before marriage. That's the second biggest mistake that a woman can make. And God forbid if you done did both. If you done had the baby and you living with him and y'all not married. Yeah, that's just gonna complicate the whole issue. And so that's very vital, ladies. It's very, very, very important that you don't give the boyfriend husband benefits, that you don't treat the boyfriend like he's your husband, because he's not your husband, he's just the boyfriend. And you have to put the relationship in its proper perspective. And you have to make it clear earlier on, if you guys decide, if you're dating and you make the decision, you're contemplating a long-term relationship, ladies, you got to put them cards on the table. And like I agree with Steve Harvey with that, is that you have to require him, and you have to make it a requirement. You have to make this your standard and say, hey, look, this is what I want. And don't settle. And don't settle for no man. I don't care how much money he has. I don't care how good looking he is. I don't care how good he is in bed. I don't care what he's got and how well he uses it. Okay? Well, I don't care what he's got and how well he uses it. It doesn't matter. If that's your requirement, you need to stick to it. And don't waver on it. And if he's either going to stay or he's going to go. If he stays, he might be a keeper. If he goes, well, adios amigo, he wasn't the one for you, move on. So that's what I want to make. I want to drive that point to home. Is though, ladies, I made that mistake myself. I speak from experience. I know what I'm talking about. Back in the day, I made that mistake myself. You know, cooking for them all the time, and making them breakfast in bed, and all this kind of stuff. They don't deserve all that. They don't deserve all that. You gotta men like to chase. They like to chase, ladies. That is in their nature. That's what Jehovah God put in them. They like to chase. Make them chase you. Make them chase you. Make them chase you. They're not, if you giving them all this husband benefits, they're not chasing you. Make them pursue you. Put the relationship in its proper perspective until the proper time. Let him honor you with a ring. Let him ask for your hand in marriage before you start offering up all these wifely duties. Okay, let me know what you think in the comment section. More interesting videos coming up. This is Sweet June.